Welcome down to episode 12 of the Cutting Matters podcast. This week, it changed things up a bit. So we've just done like a quick intro thing that we're using on social media. And we're going to go straight into our focus section from now on, straight into what the podcast is about. And this week, we are talking about personalisation.
Yeah, so with Christmas around the corner, we thought we'd talk about everything personalised. I mean, personalisation is not just for Christmas, it's all year round, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we always get queries saying, I'm looking to personalise this type of thing for this type of thing. What's the best thing to do? So talking about the machines that we offer and personalisation that it offers alongside it is the focus of today.
Yeah. So what is personalisation?
Personalisation is something quite bespoke, something tailored to somebody. So a certain design, whether it's your name on a bag, something that is unique, which is personal.
It's like there's a huge market. So as you just said, personalisation is a thing that's people do all year round, but it just comes into the fore around Christmas time, doesn't it?
Yeah,
so,
it's very popular, isn't it?
As an example, a few years ago, I don't know if I've talked about this on a podcast before, but it links to this. So a few years ago, we had a customer who was putting little pop-up shops into certain, I can't remember, one of the big department stores, and they were from quite a big confectionery company, and they were selling their Christmas kind of selection boxes.
I think I know who you mean, yeah.
And they needed a cutter that they could have on the stand to then cut your name, my name, whoever's name, to then personalise the box of chocolates that you were giving out for Christmas. So that is just one example of personalisation. But they bought like 4 or 5 cutters because they had 4 or 5 pop-up stands in 4 or 5 of these different department stores around the country, like major cities, so London, Manchester, Birmingham, Newcastle, Glasgow, I think it was. So they just had these pop-up shops everywhere. But that's like a really good example of what personalisation is to corporate entities.
Yeah.
It was at the time when we had the little CE light machine.
Oh yeah, that little machine.
So it took like your commercial size rolls of vinyl, even though it couldn't cut the full width of them. But that
was an in-between machine though, wasn't it? That wasn't quite craft, it wasn't quite commercial, it was just...
Yeah, well, it gave way to what the Cameo Pro became, didn't it? So I think it was a bit of a test of water to see what they could do with it, and it worked to be more of a wider format craft machine, really, but for small business.
Yeah.
And it worked like that. So, yeah, what machines do we offer, whether it's craft, whether it's commercial, that kind of fit the personalisation model?
There's lots of like personalisation is huge. Like that example which you just said now with printing your name on a box. So that personalisation, you'd need a printer to print onto that box, and then use, say, one of our flatbed machines to cut out that cardstock. Whereas you'll have other people that are personalising t-shirts or personalising candles. So we've got a range of different machines which fits each bill, really. So more of, say, if you're doing personalisation on tops, so nice Christmas jumper or someone's name or something, or on a bag, that would be more of a craft machine because we've got material to fit in the craft machines.
Yeah.
Small scale, your bespoke stuff that gets sold on Etsy, for instance.
Yeah.
So we've got different materials like heat transfer vinyl, standard vinyl. There's, vinyl that go onto windows, car windows, normal windows in the house or school, to create that personalisation. Also recently, which I think we spoke on a different podcast, is the auto feeder and the silhouette machines as well. So that adds an extra bit of personalisation with another range of material as well.
Yeah, if you're kind of, you said, if you've got like a little Shopify store or an Etsy shop and things like that, but you've got like one design that you want to cut multiple versions of, and you've got a silhouette portrait, a silhouette cameo, and you want to be able to cut multiple versions of that design quickly, then you've now got the ability to with the auto sheet feeder.
Yeah.
But I guess like we're based as a company, we're based in Wrexham, North Wales. We're only just down the road from Chester. First Saturday of every month, I know there's like this makers market.
Yeah.
Have you been to it yet?
I haven't, but I have done some inquiring for that, if we could potentially go there and show our equipment.
Yeah, it'd be smart. Like what I was thinking with that, to link to, say you've got people who do these kind of like makers meets, makers markets and things like that, and want to do personalization on the stand like that, but you obviously need something that's quite small, quite bespoke, then there's no better machine really that what we offer than the little silhouette portrait, is there? Because you can put that in. We sell a little carry bag for it,
Yeah.
but that's my sales speech. But there's a carry bag
They're
you can get
cute.
for it. Yeah, they are cute, and
They come in 3 colours.
you can just pack your laptop in there, your cutter, you take your materials. You've got maybe stuff that you've created at home. Maybe you've got like a workshop or something where you've got a laser cutter and you're cutting bits like MDF or acrylic, and then you're just going to need to cut someone's name out of vinyl to apply to that on the stand as and when. You can't just obviously go and cut out 50,000 names and hope someone comes and buys it with that name. But if you're just cutting on demand, then you'll have your fonts loaded in and you can just mega quickly put something together within 2 minutes. And that was pretty much the process that that company was doing in the department stores. People come say, oh, they wanted to buy this confectionery box, need my daughter's name on it. What's your daughter's name? Megan. Quickly, I went through the process with them because we didn't know how to. It was obviously a benefit of coming from working in the industry. I know how to obviously cut the media, but then apply it as well. So I was able to show them the process of designing, cutting, weeding out, applying, and then you've got your finished product. But that, like, to cut someone's name on a silhouette, what you're talking like 2 minutes at least, like maximum, isn't it?
It's the software is so user friendly, and that's another thing. The software is included with the machines as well.
Yeah.
So you can make it as personalized as you wanted to. You can change the fonts, you can change the size of the text, everything that you can just do yourself on demand.
So I think if you're a small business doing it, that's a great way to be able to make your business. You could like a lot of people who buy silhouette cameo machines. The cameo is a great machine, and technically it is still portable to a certain extent. But I know people have bought cameos. They have the cameo. That's their desktop machine.
Yeah.
But if they go to these type of things, they'll have a portrait as well because it's something that they can just quickly set up. And it's a little bit like with if you're at a point where you've got Graphtec machines, then you can't take a C7000 on site with you, can you? But some people then see, oh well, they're used to the size and the weights and things of their Graphtec, so now they're buying Cameo Pros or something. It's something that they can have in the van. So if a letter, or if they put in a sign together and a bit of the lettering gets damaged and things, they can quickly cut out.
Backup machine.
They've got a backup machine on site where they haven't got to go back to the office, recut it. They can quickly cut extra material and things on site on demand, which obviously keeps the customer happy because you haven't got your workforce go into site then going, oh, we've had a bit of an error, it's got creased or something as we've been applying it. You can just take it off, you can cut something in the back of the van quite quickly and crack on and get the job done. So we've got the craft machines.
What I wanted to say as well is the Brother machine is a great personalizing product because with the silhouette machines you have the software. So in the software, that's where you can like pull in different images, change fonts, change sizes. With the Brother machine, you could physically like draw something on a piece of paper.
That's true.
And scan it in. So if you wanted to do some vinyl on, something in particular, whether it's a chalkboard or a wall or heat transfer to put onto a bag, you can pretty much draw your own design, have that scanned in, and then it will contour cut whatever material you put in to then apply it. So you can get very creative with the Brother machines with the scan.
Imagine that. So imagine you had your little pop-up market stall where you're selling your created, I don't know, what if you say you're cutting things out of wood or acrylic and you've got like your own design and stuff that you're selling, but someone saw what you were doing and they said, oh, I'd love my daughter's handwriting to go on that.
Yeah.
And they could write on the stand, your daughter could write like Merry Christmas in their handwriting, or say your daughter, your son, whatever. You could give that to the person, they could scan it in, and then they could cut, because the way the Brother machines work with the scanner, they can literally turn that into a cut file.
Yeah.
And then you can have like your own child's work on that other person's bespoke piece.
Yeah.
That'd be quite cool, wouldn't it?
You're getting ideas now, aren't you?
Gonna get a side hustle going. I'm off to Chester's Makers Market. A bit of Christmas spending money.
Love it. So yeah, that's the Brothers. And then if we're moving then on to more of the commercial, the Graphtec products, we've got people that I've had here to do demonstrations with. They're creating their own little boxes.
Yep.
not just for Christmas, but for say Valentine's, and they're putting their own chocolates in it. So they're creating their
Wedding
own.
favours.
Wedding's huge.
Yeah.
Wedding is huge. So they're creating their own box, whether it's printed or whether it's just plain card. They're cutting out with a Graphtec flatbed cutter, the FCX 4000, which is the electrostatic bed. So that's perfect for different types of thinner cardstock.
Yeah.
And then pop in whatever inside it, and then that's something done, which it's great.
I think it was me. I think it was or I saw a picture. Was it me? Was it the wedding I went to? So I can't see one in the there was one in the demo. Is one behind me?
Those little boxes that
the little
fold
boxes
in.
that we've got.
There
But
was one.
I had one of those at a wedding years ago before I started working here with a cupcake in it.
Ah, yeah.
Well, obviously made the cupcake as wedding favour, but then they put it in these, and that's obviously when you start working in this industry, you realise the machinery that's used to create those, and when you think that it's a box, and to some people, you look and you go, "Oh, it's a box. It's been made as a box," but then you think that's just been cut out of a sheet, just one sheet of card,
And then folded in
folded.
certain ways. Yeah.
and it's just the different cuts and the lines that are the plotters use to cut that, and it's just the way you fold it has then created a box out of just a flat piece of card.
Yeah.
And when you start putting those, it's quite mind blowing, really, because you just don't realise initially that that's just come out of a flat piece of card, and then it's something that you go, oh, that's quite achievable at home. And even if you haven't got the budget for a flatbed at the moment, you can do that type of thing. One of the test files on the Brother's machines is that box.
I was actually thinking of that file, and I was just going to say, Brother have like their own little area in the machine where you can go and select different patterns.
Is it a pattern or is it a test cut file, that one?
It's actually saved into the actual machine, so
Right.
anyone can have access to it if they buy the machine.
So there you go.
Yeah.
And that's another great thing personally, because you could create that box. You create that box, add someone's name to it, and cut the name out of the box as well.
Yeah.
So you have the box folded up with your name cut out of it.
And you can make little cards as well, paper craft. Make your own like birthday cards or out of paper, different colours paper, and like stick them all together, like Easter and.
Should we just go we should go make our own makers market.
I'm getting excited thinking about all these things.
You sit there, you brainstorm, and then all of a sudden you've got a business.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you are at that stage where you've got kind of like you turn over more product, and you're at the position where you can go from your craft level machines. I think I really don't like the term craft level machines, because it makes them sound less of a product than what they are, aren't they?
It's like a start machine, isn't it? Start machine.
Yeah, and they can do so much, and you can quite easily make a very profitable business using these craft machines.
We've seen it happen, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've been in talks with a lot of people that have done that.
And you've got some people who go, well, I've got the budget for one Graphtec, or I could buy 5 cameos and have a bank of them. And then if you've got Silhouette Studio Business Edition, you can drive more than one machine at a time, creating different projects as well. So for some people, depending on some business models, actually having a bank of like 5 or 6 machines is better for you than just having one commercial machine, which are quieter, are quicker, but you're only getting one job out of that at the time that you could have a bank of 5 cameos doing 5 different jobs.
It all does depend though as well, the size of the material.
That's
so if
true.
like, people can only buy like big sheets of material, that big sheet won't fit into your cameo or your Brother machine.
Yeah, you have to do a bit of processing it down first.
Yeah, you'd either cut that to size, or if that's too much time or costing, you would then look at upgrading your machine to a Graphtec where it would fit those size materials.
Yeah. So out of our product offering that we've got from our craft catalogue,
startup machines,
what have we got?
We've got the Silhouette Cameo 4 Pro Plus, so that's under the umbrella of the cameos. The Portrait 3 as well. Also the Brother Scan & Cut, which is the CM300, SGX 900 and SGX 1200.
Cool. And then if you move in from that level up to commercial machines, but still knife plotters, what have we got then?
So if you're looking for like heat transfer or signage, vinyl, standard vinyl, your Graphtec roll fed machine, which is the CE700, got a 40 centimeter wide or a 60 centimeter wide.
Yeah, they're the most popular for that.
that type of thing.
Yeah.
If we're looking at packaging, then you're looking at your flatbed, the FCX 4000, or there is an option to go down the F mark route as well. So that's your automatic roll fed machine. So it's a C7000, but has automatic arms which lifts material in, cuts and creases the design that you created, and drops it into a cut sheet. So that's more. If you've got a workflow going on, that's your machine.
Yeah,
that
it's
you go for.
that's automation, isn't it?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
need to be like the F mark can take up to 200 sheets of media, so you don't have to do 200 sheets, but you can have up to 200 sheets loaded in at any one time. So you need to have that kind of workflow required for that type of machine, really, wouldn't you? If you're just doing one or two different jobs at the same time, you wouldn't really have a need for an F mark at that point, would you? You need to be turning over quite a lot of different, well, say different, it can be the same, but bigger kind of production runs of things.
Yeah, more of your production machine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then moving from knife cutters, we can also cut rigid materials. So I was saying like the MDF and the acrylics, can't you?
Yeah.
But you can't do that with a knife cutter, so you need a laser.
Yeah. I mean, with the craft machines, you have like a thicker knife called like a craft blade, so that can like score materials like your balsa wood, your leathers, but it will have to take a lot of time to score through that material and pierce it to cut.
Yeah.
So we have a laser machine which can cut clean different types of materials, so your woods, MDF, your acrylics, different textile materials, straight away. So that can cut but also engrave. So engraving onto different materials like your slate, your glass, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
This time of year is like people going to Christmas markets, you'll see a lot of stands which have little baubles that I've done out of MDF or wood or slate with people's names on it, people they support engraved onto it.
Yeah.
So it is a huge market.
So we are going to do another podcast. We've done podcasts on the laser offering, but our laser offering has just expanded in the past couple of weeks quite into a different kind of territory. So of the lasers that we do now, we're mainly referring to the CO2 system, which is the Wood Lasers C series, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you've got 4 different bed sizes with that one. I'd say personalisation for this kind of size of what's going on, you'd be looking at the 500, wouldn't you?
It depends though. Say if you've got a lot of work going on, if you've got like a big web store or a big Etsy shop, we've seen it ourselves. Someone's bought a C500, but they're already looking to upgrade a machine, whether having 2 of those machines together or having a large machine. Again, because of that material, you got a wider area to stick a piece of material in it and then just send it through. Then all day long it'll cut, engrave. Then you've got 50 pieces of designs done to send out the door that day. So again, it just depends on like the size of the business.
We've had it's going a little bit off tangent, but you've got the C5. Like let's for this example, let's talk about the C500. It's the smallest bed size of the C series, and the C series now are CO2 that I'm talking about. You've got. I'm just trying to think. I'll get the measurements right. It's 500 deep by 700 wide. So if you had a piece of media that was obviously 700 wide but quite long, there is a flap on the front of all of the C series machines. So you can if you had a table at the right height in front of it, you can almost support that longer sheet, put it into the laser cutter, cut out what you need, and then use the laser cutter to sheet it off, and then obviously take out what you've processed, clear the bed, and then just slide that the extra bit of sheet that you've got hanging out the front of the machine further in. So you can process longer sheets, but obviously you're not stuck, but you have to obviously buy the media width that will fit on the bed, but you can go longer. You don't have to worry about chopping that media down. So we talked about chopping media down for the cameos and things like that to make them fit, but we're talking about the only reason to do that is if the width is too wide for the machine, not the length. So as a user flow kind of situation, if you were starting out, how would you do it if you were starting out? Like you've got an idea in your head about doing a maker's meet or having a market or something like that, market stall,
Yeah.
how would you start?
You'd want to plan. Planning is key. You need to make sure you've got all your ducks lined up. You want to know who your audience is. You want to have certain templates already saved, like different fonts and things like that saved. And then you want to look at what types of material that you're going to be personalizing, whether it's hard surfaces or whether it's, fabric. So you need to choose what type of material you're going to be using, and then that will determine then what type of machine you're better to use. So if you're looking at engraving onto different names onto different materials, the laser machine is best suited for you. If you're looking to personalize t-shirts, bags, pencil cases, then again, weighing up what size material you're going to be buying will then determine if you go for your craft machine, your cameo machine, brother, or your Graphtec. So it does just depend on, what you want to try and get out of it. And even so, if you buy, a roll fed machine to begin with, and business starts getting busy and busier, you can add more things in.
Yeah.
But we find a lot of customers that are doing personalization, they have a Graphtec and a laser machine. Either have one or the other, and then add to the collection.
Yeah. This is something again that I've mentioned in previous podcasts, but if this is like the first time you tune in, obviously it's still relevant. So there is an option with all the machines that we sell. They all come with their own software, all specific softwares, but they all have options to use plugins to allow you to drive them out of software such as Adobe Illustrator.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
So, like, what a really good process would be, you said before, get all your ducks lined up, know exactly what you're starting with, get your information together, what machinery works best for the media that you're trying to process. But then, even from the start, think about future-proofing yourself.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So if you were to say, right, I'm gonna learn, I've got Adobe Illustrator, but I want to start this out, then any of the softwares that come with the machines, I would completely discount them. I would buy, if you buy a Silhouette machine or you buy a Brother machine, you have to buy the plugin separately. It doesn't come with them, but you can buy a plugin which then allows you to create files or drive the machines straight out of Adobe Illustrator. Then you get to the next step when you think you want to go, all right, now I need to move to commercial. The Graphtecs come with like Cutting Master 4. That's a plugin that allows you to drive the Graphtecs straight out of Illustrator. So all you're doing is changing your output device on your computer rather than having to get to a situation where you go, oh, I've created everything in this software, it's saved it in that format. I've then got to convert all my files.
That's the last thing you want, isn't it?
This is the last thing you want to go through, isn't it? To have to go and convert all your files. And it must be, I've spoken to people before who've like, used the native software, and then they've gone, oh, I really want to upgrade, but I can't be bothered doing that. That sounds like a right hassle.
Yeah.
But if you start off with like Illustrator, all you're doing is changing your output device. You know a bit more about the lasers than I do. Can you drive the lasers out of Illustrator?
You can save them as an Illustrator file and then import that into the software and then send it through. But there is another software which is available with the laser machine, which you can, I think, drive it straight through.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends. Not everybody on the life cycle of what you're doing. You don't go desktop cutter, commercial cutter, or then a laser, because the laser's not right for every. You'd have a knife cutter for certain materials, and you'd have a laser cutter for rigid materials.
Yeah.
So they work hand in hand. They all work on. The reason we are the distribution company that we are is because everything that we sell in this industry all works on X and Y. So that's where the link comes through. But again, laser cutters are there to process a completely different kind of material to what the knife plotters are, aren't they? And having them hand in hand opens up a massive world of creation that you can do.
So if someone's listening now and they're thinking, why would I go for a laser machine over Graphtec? They do offer different things.
Yeah.
Complete different things. So they work together nicely.
Well, yeah, for instance, you cannot cut, a lot of vinyls and things have PVC in them.
Yeah.
You cannot cut PVC with a laser.
Bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. You can't do it. It's just not good. So you can buy PVC free vinyl. There's about some what we stock. We do with our own colour and shape range of vinyl. That's all PVC free. But 90% of the vinyl on the market you can't cut using laser cutters. So you'd normally have your knife cutter for kiss cutting vinyls and things, and then your laser cutter for doing all your rigid materials like acrylics like that. That was cut on our laser cutter, wasn't it? So cut and engraved. And I guess when we talked about laser cutters in this conversation, we talked about the CO2 series, but another big market at this time of year is doing metalwork, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is a podcast in itself in the coming weeks, but just to lean onto this, we've just started doing the fibre laser, haven't we?
Yeah, fibre laser. So that enables you to engrave onto metal, so jewellery, trophies, that sort of thing. And again, that's huge for this conversation topic. Absolutely huge.
Yeah. Well, we will make an actual...
We'll touch on that another time.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. So I think that's pretty much that.
Yeah.
I
think we've covered pretty much everything there.
Yeah, for personalisation. If you've got any questions, want to know anything else about machines, software, you're looking to do this yourself, drop us an email, get in contact on our social media channels. Just search for the Cutting Matters podcast on Facebook. There's a group. We've also got an Instagram account. Or if you just want to drop us an email, send an email through to marketing@graphtecgb.co.uk and ask your questions there. Give us a phone call, 01978 666 700.
Yeah, that was quick.
I know.
That was quick.
Thanks.
Yeah, we love chatting to our customers and our resellers as well. So yeah, pick up the phone and we'll discuss anything that you guys want to know.
Yeah, it's better. I always, as much as email's great, we've spoken about this before as well, but it's good to actually chat to somebody because you fully work out what their needs are. I had a chat with a customer yesterday about which machine would be better for what she was trying to do, whether for the personalisation things that she was doing, would the silhouette machines be better for her or the brother machines? And then actually it was a bit difficult over email, and actually speaking to her on the phone within a minute, 2 minutes, worked out exactly what she was trying to do, what she needed, what the best thing was for her. She wanted to be able to use a lot of stuff that she'd hand drawn, so obviously goes straight to the brother machines, doesn't it? Because the scanner. But she didn't realise that the brother machines are the only cutting machine that have an inbuilt scanner. So as soon as I said that was the channel of the focus of that conversation then. But I say it's easier sometimes than a phone call to work out what people need rather than emails. But that said, if you have got a question,
you can email us.
You can email us.
That's the thing you can't.
No, we can't email us. We will get back to you.
Yeah, we will.
Right. Ask Ellen section this week. We had a question come in the other day and they said to us, I've got a Cameo, I want to cut MDF.
Wow, okay.
Go.
Got a Cameo, wants to cut MDF?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not laughing because there's no, I'm a genuine believer there's no such thing as a stupid question. If you don't know the answer, you don't know the answer.
No.
So yeah, they have a Cameo, they want to cut MDF.
That wouldn't be the best machine to cut using a Cameo. MDF is quite a thick material.
Yeah.
So it would just completely blunt that blade down. So
well, you just wouldn't get through it, would you?
No, I mean if you do like what we do with a Cameo with the craft knife, scoring the material, but you'd be there scoring it for years. Like you'll be at your wit's end with it.
Yeah.
So we've got a laser machines which can cut MDF straight away in one pass, no problem about it. So I would probably advise a customer maybe to look if she's still wanting or he's still wanting to cut MDF. Go down the route for laser machine.
Yeah.
You can still personalise your MDF with vinyl through your Cameo machine. But if you're wanting to cut MDF, a laser machine is the best machine for that.
Yeah, definitely. So you've got a head clearance on a Cameo of, well, if it's a Cameo 4, that they never actually said which Cameo they had, but if it's a Cameo 4, you've got a head clearance of 3mm, but you're just not going to cut. Obviously your MDF has got to be 3mm or less to actually put it in to start with, but it's just too dense. You're just not going to cut through that with any type of knife cutter. It's got to be you're either looking at laser or you're looking at CNC, but laser is a far cleaner cut and it's a lot less messy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you don't just have to, when you've got a laser, you don't just have the option of cutting it, and you can mark it or you can engrave it as well, can't you? So there is more you can do with the laser. They didn't say what size media, but
Okay.
it was kind of just a general. It was one of the questions that popped up on the instant chat on the website, and that's another thing. If you've got any questions, so you can phone us, email us, but we also have the instant chat, which we all work on in the office. So if you go on the website, it's a little button on the bottom right hand corner of the website. Click on that and you can speak to one of us if you've got some questions of any of the products that you're looking at on the website, whether even if you're looking to just renew your blade or something like that and you're not sure which blade, or you've got to change the cutting strip or anything like that, just quickly drop us a message and we can answer your question
Guide
there
you
and
where
then.
to go. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Nice. Nice.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Cutting Matters podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, then feel free to drop us a comment and leave us a like. If you haven't already, then please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification when doing so you get notified every time we upload more content. If you're listening on podcast providers, be that Spotify or Apple Podcasts, we'd really appreciate it if you could leave us a rating. But for now, thanks for joining us on the Cutting Matters podcast, and we'll see you again soon.